Namaste. In this video, we will talk about Kalpana Swaram singing, the basic elements of Kalpana Swaram singing. Kalpana Swaram singing as well as Alapana are referred to as Manodharma Sangeetam, which basically means it is your own creative output. It is not set as per a given pattern, which is what typically Varnams, Kirtanams and all follow. There is already a composition and there's already a structure to it and Sangatis to it. And though these may vary amongst themselves, but for a given school of teaching, they follow a certain pattern. Whereas Manodharmam, there is no set pattern. It's basically elements taken out from all different renderings of it, and then your own creative way of imaginatively sequencing them and stitching them together, right? So the first, we will only look at the very basic elements of it in this video. So the first part is, where are you going to sing Kalpana Swaram in a given song? We'll use the popular Kriti Vatapi Ganapatim Bhajeham in Hamsadhvani for this example, as an example here. If you usually look at the Kriti Vatapi Ganapatim, most of the time we find that singers sing the Swaram with the Pallavi, which is Vatapi Ganapatim Bhajeham. Though occasionally they may use Anupallavi or other elements, like Karam Bhujabasha Bijapuram, you can sing Swaram there and so on. Usually the Swarams are sung using a line which begins, and the line or the set of words which are there in the beginning part of the line has some sort of useful meaning, like Vatapi Ganapatim Bhajeham. So Vatapi Ganapatim also they might sing, but yeah, it's like basically there's a meaning for that entire line. It cannot be some halfway of a line which doesn't sort of come out with a useful meaning. Let's look at the most important elements that we need to be aware of. First thing is, where you are singing the Kalpana Swaram, what is the beginning note? If I am singing Kalpana Swaram in Vatapi Ganapatim Bhajeham, Vatapi Garisa. So Ga is a starting note, right? What is a Edupu? Edupu meaning, where does the Sahityam begin in relation to the beat cycle? Vatapi Ganapatim is Samam, which means Sahityam and the beat cycle begin at the same time. Vatapi Ganapatim Bhajeham Vatapi. So it is Samam, which means they begin together. There are instances where the Sahityam might begin half a beat later, or 1.5 beat later, or even 3/4 of a beat later, and so on. Accordingly, the Kalpana Swaram singing also have to take into account that aspect, but here we will only look at Samam. The third step is, having identified the beginning note of the Sahityam, which you are going to sing for Kalpana Swaram, you will have to end your sequence of notes, usually a note below or a note above that particular note. Like in this case, Ga is a beginning note for Vatapi. So the end of a Kalpana Swaram sequence usually will be a Re, which means Re Ga is a continuity. Or it could also be Pa, whichever is appropriate, whichever sounds more conducive, you can choose that. Of course, there could also be other notes which you can land and come to Ga. If that sounds musically good, you can use that. There's no restriction on that, or there's no specific hard and fast rules about it. But usually it happens to be one note below or one note above. In this case, we'll use one note below, which is Re. If you listen to many renderings, you might find they sing Kalpana Swaram in 2 speeds, which is first speed and the second speed, like Pagareza Rivatapi. Or it could be Pagariza Rivatapi. So you could sing both the speeds. Usually they start with the first speed, and then after singing several avartanam, then they'll switch to second speed and then continue second speed. We'll only look at second speed for simplicity's sake in this video. when you listen to most renderings, you will find it begins like this. Pagari sariva tapi ganapatim. Now, if you look at it, how many notes were there? Pagari sari. 5 notes were there in that small snippet which we sang. Now, 5 notes, 1 beat in Aditalam in which this song is composed is 4 notes each in the second speed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5 notes are there. So basically this last part of Dhrutam has 4 and the first half of Dhrutam has 4. So we need only 5 notes in total. So basically you have to skip 3 notes from the second Dhrutam and then start the 5 note sequence of Pagari Sari, right? Pagari Sari Vatapi. So before you do the last beat, you had already done Pa. See, if you look at it more carefully, 1, 2, 3. Pagari Sari Vatapi. So this is an example. Now starting with a short snippet like this, which is 5 notes, you can slowly stretch the sequence longer and longer, not in one quick go, but slowly sing several avartanams and then stretch it a little bit more, and so on and so forth. What are the other aspects that you need to pay attention to? You should be able to sing a long sequence of notes using a small number of notes. I'll show an example. Let's take Ga, Pa, Ni. I'm only using 3 notes. Ga, ga, pa, 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 ga, pa, ga, pa, pa, ga, ga, pa, pa, ga, pa, ga, pa, pa, ga, pa, ni, pa, pa, ga, pa, ni, pa, pa, ni, pa, pa, ga, ga, pa, pa. So like this, you should be able to stretch, create lot of variations using a small number of notes and then slowly expand it. You should not use up all the notes in one go. So that there is some sort of flow and there is a certain amount of pattern of, that of slowly developing, over several avartanams, right? So using these 2 things we can do, and then generally you should always end the sequence with a odd number of notes in most cases. We cannot sing, for instance, sa ri ga pa ni ga pa ni sa ri sa ni pa ga ri sa ri va. It's all Chaturashram. And usually if you noticed, whenever they sing, the talam and the sequence or the grouping of notes will always either lead or lag. Occasionally they may also match, the point of beat with that. But typically you will find that. I'll show an example. Ga ga pa 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 ga ga pa ga pa ga pa ga pa ga pa ga pa ni sa ni ga pa ni sa ni. Whichever it is. So you should be able to sing a long sequence using small number of notes, and over a period of time, over a period of several avartanams of talam, you can slowly expand upon it, right? And then conclude it with Vatapi Ganapatim, which is starting in Ga. Then the second element of this is showing some repeating patterns, which could be shown simply by repeating a certain pattern or by using a calculation also, which is very popular nowadays. Though in the earlier times, during the earlier yesteryears, greats rarely used to worry so much about mathematical formulations, but now that's also very popular. Either way, some repeating patterns, right? So ri ga pa ga pa ni pa ni sa ni ri ri. Just repeating pattern, right? So ga ri pa ga pa ga ni pa ni. So like this you can develop so many patterns. If you listen to it, you will listen to many other renderings, you can find so many examples of it, and you can create your own examples, right? And then, ultimately put it all together and end with, let's say Pagari Sari or something which ends with Ri, so that it lands in Ga, which is beginning of Vatapi Ganapatim, right? I'll sing a few sequence of notes, and then we'll also show some examples of mathematical formulations which are also sung to conclude. Pagari Sari Vatapi Ganapatim Gabaga, Rigari, Sarisa, Nisani, Panisa, Papa Nisariva, Tapiganavatim. Gaba Gabani Pani Bagabani Pani Sani Sarisa Nisani Pani Nipa Gaba Gagariva, Tapiganavatim. Now, you can keep singing, as a first step, you should just sing a number of a long sequence of notes and not worry about where it is ending, the edupu and so on, so that you first get the foundation right, and then you can add the edupu and then add the talam and then kind of, integrate them together. Say, for example, I'll sing without talam, I'll just serve few sequences. Gabani bani bagaba gari gari sariva rapi kanavatim. Gabani bani sa ni sari ni sa ni bani ni ba gaba gagari va dapi kanavatim. Papa gaga papa gaba 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 ni baba gaba ni baba gaba ni sa ni baba gaba ni sa ni baba gaba ni bani sa ni sari bani sari gari sa ni ba ni gari sa ri va tapi. So like that you can keep singing, and typically you can use long notes, short notes, pauses, Gabani ni ni sa 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 ni sa ni sa ni sa ni sa ni ni sa ni ni sa ni ni sa ni ba ni sa ni sa ni ba ni sa ni ba ni sa ri ga ri sa ni ba ni sa ri ga ba ga ri sa ni ga ri sa ni sa ni ba ni sa ni ba ga ba ni ba ga sa ri ga ba ga ba ni ba ni sa. Continue like that and then end it with a pagari sariva. Now I'll show some examples of mathematical calculations which are done. Of course, it can be very complex and pretty long. I'll show very simple examples using 5 into 3, 7 into 3 as well as 9 into 3. Right? 5 into 3 is typically Gari sani pa ri sani paga pagari sari gari sani pa ri sani paga pagari sari. 15. 5 into 3. We need 15 notes. We have 15 notes. And if you look at it, Aditalam, the Dhrutam portion of it is 16 notes. 4, 4, 4, 4. So you have to just skip one note from there. Rizani baga pagari sari. See? I'm leaving just one note. Rizani baga pagari sari va tapi kanavatim. Let's take an example of 7 into 3, which is 21 notes with 21 notes. Now, which is 15, we have already tried. We are adding another 6 more notes, right? So, 21, if you look at it, this is 16. Now, 16 plus, we need 5 more notes, right? So, this, the last beat of Laghu has 4, and then you have to now go into the previous beat of Laghu. So from here you need just one note. So 1, then you have 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, right? So I'll show. Sari sa gatri sani vari sani bhagapa gari sari vatapi kanavatim. See, sari sa, 3 notes were used, then 1 note was left here. Now if you see ga ga ri sani pa, 4 plus 3 7, ri sani pa ga pa ga ri sari. So if you now sing, it should be of course suffixed with a, it's prefixed with a a long sequence of other notes, which could be a sarvalaghu. Sarvalaghu meaning a pattern of notes which doesn't really have a specific set mathematical or a particular formulation, but sung with a flow as one would do just thinking about the ragam. Gapa 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 ni pani sa ni sa ri sa ni pani sa ri ga ri sa ni pani sa ri ga ti sa ni ba ri sa ni ba ga pa ga ri sa ri va ta pi kanavatim. Now 9 into 3, which is 27. 27 would mean one full talam is 32. 8 into 4. So we just need to skip 5 notes and then we'll get 27. As an example, pa ni sa ri sa, 5 you can skip. pani sa ri sa ga tri ga ri sa ni pa ni pa ga pa ga ri sa ri va ta pi ganavatim. Now of course you have to sort of suffix this to another long sequence. Pa ba 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 ga ba ga ri sa ni sa ri ga ba ga ri sa ni sa ri ga pa ri ga pa ri pa ga ga ri sa ni pa ni sa ri ga ri sa ni pa ni sa ri sa ni sa ri ga pa ri pa ga ni pa ni sa ni sa ri sa ni sa ni ri sa ni ni pani sa ri sa ni ni ri sa ni pa ni sa ri ga ri ga pa ga ri sa ni ga ri sa ni pa ni ni pa ga ri sa ri ga pa ni sa ri sa ga ri sa ni pa ga ri sa ri va ta pi ganavatim. So these are the basic elements of Kalpana Swaram singing in a very simplified format where we only look at a samam eduppu. There are many more things which we will talk about as we keep coming up with more and more instructional videos in this channel. Hope you liked it. Please go ahead and try on your own and post your comments how it worked for you. And if you like this channel, click like, subscribe if you would like to get regular updates. Take care. Namaste.